Merry Christmas to everyone. And for today's episode, we have a special one for you. Snuggle in tight and listen for 10 minutes on this bonus episode of a spooky Christmas story. Shocked, a story by Mr. Q. It was December 2025, just a few weeks before Christmas break, as Lucy made her regular walk from the school bus to her new home in Hyattsville. Lucy struggled to adapt to her new town. Hyattsville was cute, but it didn't feel like home. She fought hard to stay when her parents broke the news of their new jobs in Hyattsville. She thought her life would be more beneficial if she stayed back with her grandma, but what did she know? She was only a teenager. Lucy enjoyed the small town and cute shops at walking distance. She really didn't mind the house. It was cozy, inviting, and she finally had her own room. What she did mind, though, was school. Hyattsville High was the hardest thing to warm up to. She was already shy at her previous school, but even more so at the new one. Not sure who to trust, she just stuck to herself. She tried not to make waves, but one girl seemed to make them for her. Sammy was the popular girl in school. Sammy thought her life's purpose was to intimidate the new kids at the school, and she worked hard to fulfill that purpose. She made fun of Lucy, mocking Lucy's city lingo and calling her overweight, even though Lucy only weighed 10 pounds more than Sammy at 145 pounds. Lucy tried not to let Sammy's words bother her. Lucy was a Christian and knew better than to let outward oppression affect her inward joy. However, the more she thought about Sammy's attacks on her, the more she resented the girl. She thought if she just didn't talk about it, the hurt and bitterness would go away, but that's not what happened. Every day, she rode the bus home to her small, cozy neighborhood. Stepping off the bus and walking home was her favorite part of the day. Not only because she would soon be in her new home with her favorite people and pets, but because she also walked home with her new neighborhood friend, Tay. Tay didn't go to her school, but somehow they ended up walking home together every day. The bus would drop Lucy off at the only entrance she was aware of. Tay, however, said that her bus dropped her off at the end of the only side street in the neighborhood. Where the two streets meet, near the entrance, is where they would cross paths every day. And even though Tay said she lived on the side street she was dropped off on, Tay always insisted that she would walk with Lucy all the way to her house at the end of the street so she could spend more time with her. Then, when they would arrive at Lucy's long driveway, they would say their goodbyes and see you tomorrows. Even though Tay seemed a bit strange, Lucy enjoyed her walks home and long talks with her first and only friend in Hyattsville. As school continued, Lucy grew tired of Sammy's constant bullying. One day, while walking home, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She decided to tell Tay everything that was going on at school. Each day on their walk home, Lucy had a new bully story to tell. Along with each story came some advice from Tay.
You don't deserve such ill treatment from a girl like Sammy. If I were you, I would put her in her place. Teach her a lesson.
Lucy liked the sound of that. She was tired of being the joke of the school. So she listened to Tay's advice and took it to heart. She thought about what she could do to stop the bullying and what her parents would think if she reacted unchristlike. Lucy came to a conclusion. She didn't want to displease her mom and dad. Instead, she would just keep sharing her experiences with Tay. As the stories continued to flow, Tay's advice stayed the same, and one evening, her advice was simply taken to the next level.
I tell you what, Lucy. Next time you see Sammy in the lunchroom, take this taser and shoot her directly in the chest with it.
That night, as Lucy thought about Tay's advice and examined the taser with her hands, Her anger slithered from her head to her heart. She knew what she had to do. The next day at school, Lucy watched the clock as each class began, waiting for her moment to finally get back at Sammy. She would embarrass her so bad, no one would like Sammy anymore and no one would bother her anymore. Her heart raced as she entered the lunchroom, stuffing the taser down the back of her pants. Lucy picked up her lunch like normal, then hurried over to her seat. Sweat rolled down her back as she noticed Sammy walking by. Sammy proceeded to purposefully drop her mashed potatoes onto Lucy's head as she walked by. And in red-faced rage, Lucy jumped to her feet and faced Sammy's back as Sammy walked to her seat. With one hand on the taser behind her back, she stepped in Sammy's direction. Little did she know that her dad had stopped by to eat lunch with her and noticed what was going on. Suddenly, Lucy felt another hand on top of the hand holding the taser. She looked. It was her dad. He proceeded to sit Lucy down and to talk with her about the incident at the lunch table. Ashamed, Lucy shed tears as she told her dad what she had planned to do and where she got the taser. Her dad helped her to reaffirm her Christian values of love and forgiveness, and to understand the consequences if she would have tased Sammy. After lunch, her dad had a talk with the principal and with Sammy's parents. Everything was resolved and Sammy was expelled for excessive bullying. In the process, they learned that Sammy had a heart condition. Lucy now understood that if she would have tased Sammy, it could have been life-threatening. How could I ever imagine to do something so horrible to another human being? She thought. Before Lucy's dad left the school to go back to work, he gave Lucy clear instructions. She was ordered to return the taser back to Tay, and to tell Tay she was no longer allowed to be friends with her. Lucy dreaded to follow those orders, but she prepared her heart and mind to do exactly what her father wanted her to do. That day, as she stepped off the bus, she looked around for Tay, but Tay never showed up as she walked home. Maybe she was sick today, she thought. But a week went by, then two, still no Tay. Lucy was concerned and wanted desperately to return the taser she had been carrying around. Then she remembered that Tay said she lived at the last house on the right, down the only side street in the neighborhood. So the next day, Lucy made her way down the only side street in the neighborhood. Lucy had never ventured down this particular street, but noticed as she approached the end of the street that it was a dead end. She scratched her head in confusion, wondering why Tay's bus would come all the way down this dead end and not just drop her off at the entrance like her bus did. As she approached the last house on the right of the only side street, her mouth dropped open and chills ran down her spine. She looked with fright and amazement as she observed what remained of a burnt-down house. A chimney, a staircase, a few walls, and a burnt window was all that remained. The sidewalk leading to the missing front door was still intact, with a short burnt fence surrounding the house. In the front yard lay 3 tombstones. The one on the far right read, Tay, 1996 to 2014. When Lucy realized what she was seeing, she dropped her taser and ran. Friends, advice is a powerful thing. It's powerful enough, under the right circumstances, to push us into doing things we never thought we could. The Bible tells us there is power of life and death in the tongue. Be careful what and who you listen to. No matter how sincere some people may sound or how friendly they are, their advice may be evil. Study and know your Bible, God's perfect guide to your life. It will never fail you or lead you the wrong way. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, Lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path.